What's up, summoners? King Blair here. Today we're gonna be talking about the 5 things that I wish I knew as a noob and I wish I would have done earlier, and it would have saved so much stress. I would have had so much more fun with the game. But these are some things I'm wanting to share to you guys so y'all don't make the same mistakes I did. Now, let's start with the number one of the, well, there's not really like a list. I'm just going to kind of go through the things, but one of the things that I wish I knew better was how to use my resources properly. One such resource is the transit stones and the leaves. So when you come over here to transit stones and the leaves, you get billions of these transit stones, right? And you're just like, man, like, what do I do with all these transit stones? You also get a bunch of like leaves. It's like you see those leaves there and you're like, I'm just gonna use them for whatever. Guys, don't do it. Don't waste your leaves in like worthless stuff. Don't waste your transit stones on worthless stuff. What should you be using your transit stones? So one, the gold transit stones, that's up to you. I personally go for the galaxy bookmarks because that's the rarest units to get, and like there's really good light and dark units out there, and you should definitely use the gold ones for that. The 4-5 stars, you'll eventually run into 4-5 stars, but if you really want, you can do that. It's a higher chance of getting a 5-star. It's a 5% chance, but I don't know. Personally, I feel like galaxy bookmarks is the only way you can get light and dark. So personally, I use that for the light, for the transit. But for the regular transit stones, the only thing you should be using your transit stones on are this. So always use your molagora for, like, use your transit stones. Molagora is so hard to come by, and it's such an important resource. The difference that your unit has, like a skilled up unit with molagora versus not, is insane. And you can get this every single week. Same thing with like conquest points. So I did a mistake. I forgot to get my molagora seed this week. Completely slipped my mind. Misuse a resource. Don't be like me. Get your molagora seeds weekly. Same with your transit stones. The Giga Phantasma, I honestly don't like Giga Phantasma that much because, like, typically, like, for a lot of, like, especially Falconeer Clary, you have to level up the white ones to level 40. And typically, I rarely see myself, like, leveling these guys up because there's so many different things you can level. So it's not as important that you get a weekly Giga Phantasma. It's way more important that you get your Molagora. And also, the Greater Artifact Charms is nice, and the Greater Accessory Charm is nice if you just have tons of it. This is more for the late game players that you guys should be looking at these two. But early game, legit, just try to get your Molagora every single week. Make sure you have enough transit stones. And that goes to my second point, and the next point I want to talk about is 3-star heroes. What should you do with them and things you shouldn't do? So right off the bat, we have leaves, right? And you're like, man, oh, I forgot to talk about leaves. So before I go to the second point, the leaves, there's only literally 2 things you should be using these for. You should be saving them up. Energy, it's just not enough energy yet. I wish they bumped it up a little bit more before it becomes worth it. But if you really need that extra bump and you really want to 6-star that unit as soon as possible, feel free to use it on energy. I just don't recommend you do it. The things you should be using it on, if you're a new player, you should be using it for this Abyss. Because you want to rush Abyss as much as you can. Abyss is such a good thing. And if you can clear the stages early game, you will propel yourself so much faster if you get these Abyss guides early in the game. Like literally your first week when you can easily clear Abyss stages. Enjoy while you can. Buy these guys. Get as far as you can because you will progress so much faster at the beginning. There's times where I would be hard stuck in the story stages because I just didn't have enough things. So leaves on this is insane. Energy, only if you're trying to push for something. I don't recommend it, especially early game. You should just save up your leaves. The thing that I use my leaves for the most is Labyrinth Compasses. Now, you might be asking, how come you haven't used it to buy it this week? King, like, what are you doing? The reason why is because I already finished all the raids for the week. I used these very early on. I could get it, but then I'd be at 3. I've gotten really good at finishing raid. But this is what you want to be using it on almost every single day. Because guys, doing Labyrinth is so important. And having an extra attempt every day is what you want to be shooting for. This is the main thing you should be using your leaves for, this Labyrinth Compass. And then these at the bottom, like the 120, It's almost not worth it. I just like to save my crystals for summoning. It's okay if you want to use it for that, but I personally, your crystals are way more important than that. So manage your resources properly, guys. Always get the molagora when you can. Like, you should, there's no excuse to not get the molagora unless you like, or even if you think, man, I have nothing that's gonna use it. Use it. You need it. And Labyrinth Compass, same thing. You should be getting it as much as you can. I get it every single day, except on like near the beginning. I slow down a little bit near the end because I finish raid like after 2 to 3 days. I'm able to finish all the raid stages. So that's what you guys need to do with your resources. But again, I was gonna go to the next point. I'm sorry, I was a little confusing. How to get transit stones. So transit stones are typically gotten from transmission, and you can put 3-star heroes. This is not the best thing to do for your 3-star heroes. I would only use this if you need a little bit more to get your molagora. This is not something I would do. As long as you're getting your weekly molagora, you're fine. If you can hit that weekly cap, don't sell your heroes. Most events will give you transit stones. Most clearing storylines will give you transit stones. But don't sell your heroes like this. I think that's the worst thing to do with your 3-star heroes. Only do this if like you did the other 2 things that I'm about to tell you. And if you really, really need it for that weekly molagora, that's the only times that should be allowed. But early game, you should not do that. You should not be doing that. It's not worth it. Don't sell your heroes for transmit stones unless you're way further in the game and you don't what I'm about to tell you. Which leads me to my next point, which is using what to do with your 3-star heroes. And the biggest thing that I learned this 2 weeks ago, I'm a late game player. I've done so much in this game. I've like six stars. I've done a lot of things. And one thing that I recently was like, why haven't I done this? Is use your 3-star heroes. Not all of them are fodder. So for example, Hazel, she's not fodder. If I had fodder my Hazel, I wouldn't have her where she is. But the other thing, why you shouldn't fodder, and like you should research what's good. Alexa, I thought she was garbage. She's not. She's actually really good. Don't fodder all your 3-stars. You should keep 1 3-star that has this leader skill maxed up. Every time you summon 3-star heroes, what you should do is like, let's say like for example, Thierry, right? So she said, so this is like every time you get a Thierry, feed it to this Thierry. And then you want to get this skill up. You might be like, I'm never going to use it. Doesn't matter. Get this skill, like the leader skill, up to triple SS. That's the first thing you should do with all your 3-star units. Have them all 3SS. This is something I recently started doing and I wish I did sooner instead of just foddering them. Because the thing is, with these guys, let me put it in star because I have a bunch of 3-stars now that I'm starting to do this with. The reason why is because when you clear these, when you get this to triple SS, there's a mission in Reputation that will give you like tons and tons of just Covenant bookmarks. See right here. Oh, that's not it. It's this one. Let me see if I can find it. This one. Unlock devotion skill grade of a hero to triple SS. Y'all see this? This is like 4 summons. And like you guys are like, oh, I hate summoning all 3-stars. There's no, like you should be able to get all triple SS and you get so many more summons. And you'll get to those 5-star heroes. And the thing is, when you figure out, like for example, Falconeer Clury, you'll find out, hey, she's really good. Now you'll have a Clury that's triple SS. So guys, before you feed all your 3-stars, make sure you have at least one of that unit full triple SS skill. Because that will make it so like if for some reason they get a buff in the future or something, like for example, like I need to start doing with my Missy Chan. I haven't. And you can do that. And then that's just like if they become good. See, I recently started doing this and I'm such a noob. I should have been doing this before. Because you get so many summons off of it. And then in the future, you have so many units you can build. And it's going to be like they're already ready for building. The other thing that this helps a ton with is like, let's say you really care. Like for example, Rima, I know she's never going to be good. But I want to get that triple SS still because why not? The other thing you can do that I've seen some people do and that is super smart is level the base unit to level 40 or to level 30, then feed it 3 of the same, evolve it, and then just use it as fodder, like once you get it to triple SS. That way you're not wasting any resources. This is a very time-consuming process, but it's really not that bad because when you think about it, Phantasma, the only difference is 3% extra battle XP. That's it. It's not like, oh, 3% more. It's literally like 20 more energy, and you get the same level. And people are like, oh, I don't have enough Phantasma. I don't know. Actually, I can't say that because I always have too many Phantasma. But that's another way you can use it. It's more foddering, easier 6-star, and then you get a ton of summons, guys. Make sure you always keep those base units and at least level up their skill at least to SS before you decide to feed them, and also use them as fodder. So, and that's the other thing that goes in, like, there's units that are 3-stars that are actually really, really good and are sleeper units. So for example, like Tanner Guard, people haven't started building him until Wyvern 11 came around, and they're like, damn, he's actually good. And if you were one of those people that had him triple SS and like was like leveling, like, or had done the process where you leveled him up and already had him evolved because of all the fodder units, you would be able to build him right away, and you could be at the forefront of that. And that's something that's so important, guys. This is probably the biggest point I want to drive in through you guys, that you guys need to do that. The last two is a lot about like just overtime play and like focusing, because I have really bad focus. And like, let's just take a look at my 6-stars. I have these 6-stars, but I really only use very few of them. So for example, Destina, really good. Balana, super OP, took me so long to 6-star her. Says, my best farmer. Cece, waste of resources. I should not have 6-starred her. I wasted so many resources and had so many good equips on her that it's like I kind of wasted a lot, because she doesn't fit into any of my teams and I don't use her anymore. And I wish this 6-star had been another of my units in here, like my Violet or my Yuna or like my Shuri. That should have been this 6-star instead, and I would have progressed so much further in the game, guys. Don't get bogged down on like, oh, this unit's so cool, I'm gonna build them right away, before you're like, wow, do I actually use them? So for example, Challenger Dominiel, I had her forever and I never used it until recently. And when I started using her, I started moving through content super duper fast. And it's because she's a really solid unit. And you guys need to prioritize the units you use this way. And like even the 3-stars, like Falconeer Clury. I wish I had Falconeer Clury. I don't. I didn't like how she looked. And I have struggled so much in this game and spent so much time building a bunch of units for like Abyss that I already had my answer. It was Falconeer Clury. And like I don't have her now because I already built around her. But I look at all these like 5-stars that like I don't use. Like, why the hell is my Mercedes? I don't know. Do I use her? No, never. Waste of resources. I could have had another 6-star right here. Like right there, those 4 or 5 units that are like full level 50. Waste of resources, guys. Don't waste your resources like me. Don't do what I did when I was a noob. Focus on what you want. I've gotten a lot more focused and on raid, which is why I'm building Luna, and I'm gonna build this Angelica coming up soon too, because that's what I actually need to progress in the game. So don't get bogged down in cool units. But that brings me to the next point. This video became way more than 5 points. I just got like, damn, there's so much knowledge I need to show you guys. Focus on the content, you know, like that's something I mentioned. I never use my Queen Cece. She doesn't fit anywhere. Biggest raid you should focus on is Wyvern 11. How to clear Wyvern 11. Those should be the first of your 11, like your first 6-stars should be focused towards Wyvern, because this is where you get the best equips, guys. Crit, hit, and speed, super duper important. If you have a lot more tanks that you want to build, Golem becomes super. Wow, I haven't even cleared Golem 10. I need to do that. But yeah, do you guys see this? How can I haven't been able to clear Wyvern 11? Like, I've been playing this game for like since it came out like 3 months ago, and I still can't clear this late game content. But I've cleared all of Abyss, like literally all of Abyss. I've cleared it, and I've cleared all of Labyrinth. Like I already got to like I cleared all Labyrinth. I finished this, killed the Queen, went on to Hell, killed the first boss of Hell. But I can't clear raid, and it's like, what the heck? Like, why did it take me so long to do this? This took me 3 months. This shouldn't take you guys more than like a month to start doing raid and getting far. The reason is I didn't focus on hunt early enough in the game, and that was my huge mistake. Guys, don't do that mistake. Focus on your hunt teams. If you have a good hunt team, you will have a good Abyss team. They kind of go hand in hand, and it makes your life so much easier. There's so many good units. I could make a separate video on talking about units you should build as a beginner player, but that'll be for a different discussion. And last but not least, finish your adventure quest, guys, and get those Breath of Orbis, because having these buildings scaled up is so nice. Steel Workshop, one of the things you should for sure improve ASAP. The gold is not as important. I just personally I'm running out of gold because I'm always like improving stuff. So you'll always see me like have super low gold, and if I have high gold, it's because I'm getting ready to do like a big change to one of my units. But this makes life so much easier for crafting. This middle one is super important also because it gives you a chance of like getting good gear, and you need good gear in the game to be able to clear higher content. And then reduce, you want to farm less, so you should definitely, this is one of the first ones you should do. The other one you should also do really early is high command, because it's like, and pick the one that you want the most of. So for example, I wanted to prioritize both labyrinth and this, so I got my building to here and I stopped because you only need to get to a certain point to already get the good stuff. So like this is like a little bit overkill because it's every 12 hours, but it's like I get on the game pretty often, so the 21 is like actually works better for me because it's like, I think it's like 6 hours, and I get on about 3 times a day versus just 2 times a day, so I end up getting more from this. So you don't have to build this all the way up, but just to a point where you can get a lot of idle. Same thing with Heart of Orbis. I improved it pretty much everything. I wish I improved this more because it's just free. Like, it's so free. Like, if I had got this all the way to 50%, guys, I would be banking. Because every day you get a chance of 2 of these. So every day you're getting like a free 200k gold and like 40 crystals every single day for doing absolutely nothing. This is such a good thing. You guys should, like, all these buildings are so good and like help you out with like basic resources. Forest of Souls, to be honest with you guys, this is probably the one you should prioritize the least. And I actually might pull back some of this. Especially this left one is so useless. Like, most of the time, you don't really care about the penguins that much. You definitely should have the soul extension to have 3 creatures, and the time is really not that important because you'll come around so much of the stigma that the time really doesn't matter. This is probably the worst ones to level up, and I haven't prioritized the goal to bring this out and to put into Heart of Orbis. Heart of Orbis is bank, it's money. You should definitely do this. I shouldn't have clicked on that, I should have waited. But it's free gold and free gems. Like, why would you not do that, you know? But that's all I got for you guys today. I hope I didn't dizzy you guys. If I could summarize this whole video in like 10 seconds, it would literally be manage your resources properly, build the right units. That's all I gotta say to you guys. Make sure y'all don't do my new mistakes. And that's all I got. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.